There's a lot of things that drive you. What was it, those first few years? I mean, ups and downs, highs and lows. What would you say to like some of the new agents? There's been so many agents the last couple of years, whatever and every year. I mean, there's just, everybody and their mother gets their license. Oh, real estate's hot. They don't realize it's hot because there's nothing to sell. But, so there's a lot of agents out there that getting into the business and trying to figure it out, trying to navigate these first couple of years. And I remember my first couple of years. I mean, thank God I got plugged in, with you and different people like 6 months into it. And it exploded my business very quick. 2.5 years into it, I was in the top 20 in town here in Colorado Springs. That's where I'm at.
That's fantastic.
And, and it was all because of what I learned. Seriously, what I learned from you. And the other people I was around, you become who you hang around. I wanted to be a part of that group, so it wasn't cheap, put $14,000 on a credit card to join that program and didn't tell my wife for 6 months she's going to leave me. I'm like, oh my God, and, but it paid off. She had to get her license, 2.5 years later because I couldn't keep
That's
up.
great.
Good problem to have. But it was because I learned what I learned from you. Did you get plugged into coaching early on, or did you have good mentorship, or was it kind of the first couple of years? What was it like for you?
So I struggled the first few years, 5 years, to be honest with you. Got in some big trouble with the IRS, didn't pay my taxes for 5 years. Things got a lot worse before they got better. And one night, late at night, I was watching an infomercial, and it was QVC, and it was Tony Robbins. And he was selling these cassettes, Personal Power, how to navigate the demons in your head. And I had a lot of demons in my head. I had a lot of self-doubt. Things weren't working out. I was getting, I was focused on where I was, not where I was going. And sometimes when you're going somewhere to be the number one agent in the world, or to pursue that, or to be a great husband or a great father or a great coach or a role model, it doesn't happen overnight. So when you're going through it, self-doubt can creep in. So anyway, I bought those cassettes on money that I didn't have. I invested it on a credit card. I listened to them till they wore out. And, that changed my psychology. So that probably continued to help me believe that anything was possible. And, the definition of insanity is keep doing what you're doing, expecting different results. So at that time, I was cold calling, I was door knocking, I was chasing expireds and struggling. I mean, I was making 300 calls a day. Nobody worked harder than me. And I was broke. I was spending more money than I was making, Jeff. And met a guy who's the number one RE/MAX agent in the world for transactions. His name was Marshall Redder. I went out and saw Marshall. He introduced me to Craig Proctor. I met Craig Proctor. Like you said, you become a product of your environment, and those two guys exposed me to a whole different world of direct response marketing. And once I engaged in direct response marketing, I never looked back. I went from 42 deals to 108 in 1 year. I married, built my own house, had money in the bank, paid the IRS off. And it's just been great because I don't have to chase the business. The business will come to you if you can differentiate yourself. So that was really the big turning point for me. So I had a lot of people to thank along the way.
Yeah, that's awesome.